We're getting the bad ones out first, and we're taking them out. And there's some really bad ones, really bad ones.
Last week, a judge ordered the administration to turn the planes around, saying the migrants are entitled to individualized hearings.
But White House officials say the judge's written order came too late. The ACLU is suing the administration, and appellate judges heard the case yesterday.
Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemy Act than has happened here.
Well, Your Honor, we certainly dispute the Nazi analogy.
We removed terrorists. To compare that any way whatsoever with Nazis is disgusting on every level.
For now, federal courts are blocking the Trump administration from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport people. It was invoked during the War of 1812 and World Wars I and II.
Joining us now to break it all down, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. I mean, whew, wow, when you say the Nazis got better treatment, I mean, it makes you listen up and go, wait, what's going on with this? Okay, let's talk a little bit about where this stands and what the Trump administration is doing versus the order from the judge.
Well, we have the order from the district court judge. So when we get to the Court of Appeals, because they've appealed that judge's order, so the Trump administration says, okay, great, they're doing exactly how the legal system is supposed to work. I go to court, I hear what the judge is going to say. I don't like what the judge is saying. I'm going to appeal. We go in front of a Court of Appeals. We didn't get a decision from the Court of Appeals, but we had some comments. You hit on one of them. The judge said a couple of times, it seems like the Nazis got better treatment during this process than the folks that you're dealing with now. And she asked a couple questions. If a person has answered to the question that they're not a member of the gang, and they're saying that they want to be able to have a hearing to make a determination of that, how have you addressed that? How have you addressed any of these habeas corpus acts? The habeas corpus, you have the body. Bring the body. I'm entitled to a hearing. All of those things should have happened. The government responded and said, well, there's 5 individuals still in Texas that are waiting for a hearing. The judge said, well, what about all the other folks that are on the plane? Did they even have an opportunity to have a hearing? Those are the types of questions that the judge is asking, and the Trump administration didn't have an answer to her response. Again, this is a panel of 3 judges, and so her questions, at least for her decision making, let you know the way that she wants to decide.
Khalif, how do you even begin to break this down when you have, the border czar Tom Homan saying we don't care what the judges are saying? There has to be some sort of following of the legal precedent here in terms of allowing people to have a hearing. Not saying that anything is against the law, but we just have to follow the way things are supposed to be done, right?
We have 3 co-equal branches of government. I have to harp on it as many times as I can. As many folks attempt to say that the executive branch is expanding, and that I think this administration is attempting to expand it. There is a true pushback right now between the judiciary and the executive branch, and it is leading to a tipping point where we've never been as a country, where you have the border czar saying that I will refuse to listen to or follow a judge's order. He flat out said, I don't care what the judges say. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. That is problematic. But if you do it as the manner in which they're doing it now, which is appealing judge's decision, the U.S. District Court judge order still stands. His order is still controlling until another judge overrules his decision. Now, one of the judges on the panel did ask a question, and this hits a question that's going in front of the Supreme Court. Well, why don't you guys file this case here in D.C.? All these things that happen in Texas. Well, there's nothing stopping them from filing it in D.C. You can file it in any jurisdiction that is a court of appeals. And so you don't have to go to D.C. You don't have to go to Texas. The way our laws are set up, any United States District Court judge can hear these types of matters. And until Congress changes that, that's the way it works.
So what do you see happening in the interim? The administration will continue to deport, ask questions later, until there's an official ruling and a hard line on yes and no on what you
I think the hard line has been drawn right now. Okay. So the hard line, until this U.S. District Court judge opinion is overruled by another either Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court, what he said still stands. And so they'll have to make sure they give folks an opportunity to have a hearing. And to echo what the judge's questions were, the Nazis did have it better. If they were able to file a habeas corpus petition, if they were able to actually have a hearing and be heard on their request to stay in this country and not be deported out, then that's what these folks are given the right and opportunity to do. You have to go through the process. And part of using this Alien Enemies Act is going around that process, being able to streamline and speeding up the process of deporting folks. And I recognize that this administration wants to deport people as fast as they can. I get it. Deport. Don't care which side of the aisle you fall on. But you got to make sure that you are following the rules that are in place. And part of the rules, if a person requests a hearing, you got to give them a hearing.
Again, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, breaking it down. I don't think anybody's against getting gang members out of the country. It's just following the law the way it's set. Khalif, thank you.